filmmaking, just like any other profession, is not just about the passion. It's not just about the determination. I think anybody can have the passion and determination. It's not just only also about the talent, because the talent can be honed, you can work it out, you know. But I think it's more of the commitment to do what you really want to do. If you're committed to do that, and you tell yourself that I committed myself in doing this type of film and this kind of film, then no matter what, you're gonna do it. It was an accident. It was by accident. I was working in advertising as an art director, and then I also worked as a production designer for mainstream Filipino films, so I get the chance to meet other directors also. And then one day, a friend of mine approached me and asked me if I want to make a film. And then I said, why not? It's like a chance of a lifetime, and for me, I wasn't really serious at becoming a director, because I was already happy doing what I'm doing. In advertising, it's good money, and I thought at the time it's just what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Well, of course, when I did my first feature, the Masahista, and won the Golden Leopard in Locarno. It changes my life. It's a life-changing moment. It made me realize, a lot of things about filmmaking, about being serious with what I'm doing.
Alam niyo ba kung ano mangyayari sa magulang niyo?
Ayun nga, ano ho bang balak sa kanila?
Of course, when I did my first feature, it was a totally different, objective. At the time, I was attracted to the glamour of show business. I was attracted to what most people do, in show business, the glamour side. But then it's more than that. I realized that it's more than that. When people started saying something about my film, like saying the culture, saying the people, seeing the Philippines like they'd never seen before. So I started to think, and I said, why would these people see these things which I did not see in the first place? I was just being honest with what I do, with my stories. I don't have any pretensions of knowing too much and showing too much, but just the idea of showing what's real and showing what's there, regardless if it's nice or regardless if it's not so nice to look at. Of course, eventually I developed my aesthetics into what you call the found story, and which was founded by my mentor, Armando Lau. And from then on, I followed this aesthetics. This aesthetics of found story, it's like a docudrama. It's like a documentary, but it's not really a documentary because it has a narrative. It has a script. You prepare, you have your actors, you have your rehearsal, you have your immersion. I mean, the usual stuff that you do when you do mainstream films, except that the way we do it, the way I would, orchestrate everything, it's as if you are capturing life. You're capturing life, you're capturing the moment of the story of these ordinary people, at that moment in their life. It doesn't have to be only the problematic ones, but I think the more interesting one to know and to discuss and to share with the public are the ones that have an issue, something that there could be a discourse, an exchange of ideas, not just like following a certain pattern where people just watch your film and after that they leave the cinema and feeling good. That's the usual thing that we experience when we go to watch our films. But with me, it's more of like I want my audience to have critical thinking after watching the film. I want them to, think deeper about what they just saw and think deeper about what they are, they experience while watching my film.
Bayad daw po. Thank you. Bye.
For me, it's more of explaining to the actors their characters, and it's more of making them understand why they are in my set or why they are doing this film with me in the first place. It's not like I like your face, I like your kind of acting, that's why you are here. It's more of we are doing this because we want to do something, we want to create something together, and that we want to tell a story. And that the actors and I would, we'll talk about, the situation, why we are doing this story, why is this a specific story. For me, acting is more of like being the character and being spontaneous and natural. It's not about memorizing the script and coming on the set prepared and fully made up for the role. For me, acting and what I tell my actors is to not only just being the character, but believing, yourself that you are that character. Because once you believe in yourself that you are that character, then I don't need to tell them anything about what they do. They just have to act it, they just have to feel it, and they just have to show it at that moment. I am not only interested, but I think these are my kind of festival because I also have an advocacy. Back home in the Philippines, I show my films to different schools and universities as well. I discuss my films to the students. I let the students ask questions about my films, about my filmography, and about other issues. I let them understand cinema, because as you know, Philippines with a population of 110 million people all over the archipelago. We speak different languages, we have different cultures from different islands. And it's impossible for them to, to watch films, impossible for them to, appreciate cinema the way I would want the people to appreciate my film. And unfortunately, it is not also a priority of the government to, to understand cinema and to attract the young people in terms of understanding cinema the way I would want them to understand. So what I do is that I don't complain, I walk the talk. I do my own things, I try to reach out to different schools and universities, I show my films, and the students at the school, of course, they're more than grateful to welcome me because of this idea. So I find fulfillment in doing that. And also in festival like this, no matter how small, in terms of audience, because you only cater to the locals and to the students in the city. For me, it's not about the size, it's not about the numbers, but it's about the message, and it's about the people you wanted to tell your stories and want to share your stories. You can have hundreds of thousands of people out there watching your film, but at the end of the day, if there's nothing that really, catches their attention, and there's really nothing that, touches their heart, it's useless. But if you have one or two person, like what I just had in my master class, the organizers are kind of, apologetic because it was a Sunday, and everybody are, and there was some sort of miscommunications. But then there are a few people who came, but then those who stayed, knows my filmography. Those who stayed knows my films and are interested to know more about, not only about my films, but about what I can share with them. So that's what matters. Because even if I leave Malaga, tomorrow, I know that I was able to touch 3 or 4 persons who are interested and who approached me and said that they were so inspired by my stories.